All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty of this kayak build. I'm kind of buttoning up some stuff that I don't really like, permanently mounting some stuff. We're getting tournament ready at this point. I kind of had everything in mock-up mode before, and just make sure that's where I like it. I mean, my black pack and my battery were just bungeed in. This mount was definitely not on there. I was just running a Yak Attack mount, but I ran into some problems, and mainly just with this. These gunnels have a lot of flex on the NuCanoe Unlimited. So what I did is I've actually kind of designed what I've been calling, I haven't seen anybody out there. If anybody's made one of these yet, at some point, just hit me up in the comments and be like, this has already been done, this is dumb. But I'm calling it a track link plate. So on the NuCanoe, over here you have a set of tracks, and then on the inside here, you also have a set of tracks. So what I did is out of a piece of 1/4-inch starboard and some spacers and just about everything you can get locally where you're from. You could probably source any of this, Amazon, wherever. I bought a bunch of it because I made one for the front, I made one for the rear. Pretty much anywhere I can channel these, I kind of was playing with it. So I'm not gonna link what I bought in the comments. You're gonna kind of have to source for yourself. You can find stuff cheaper than what I bought it for. I promise you that. But you do not have to drill into your kayak at all to put this link plate on. You will have to drill and design your plate mount, but you won't have to physically drill into the kayak. And why I did this initially was because I had so much shake on my graph, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it at all. And so I went with a big ram ball mount. Well, this is meant for the console of a boat. And I kind of stole the idea. I shouldn't say stole the idea. I got the general concept for the idea watching one of Austin Hoover's videos, if you haven't seen it. But he shows how his graphs are mounted. And he actually used like a bow mount system for a boat, it looks like. And I was like, why can't I do that? This is a console mount, but it's the same concept. I need something beefier, bigger to hold this 106 SV stable. And so I don't have to keep taking it on and off the kayak every time I leave. I can just kind of cinch it up. And this, trust me, this is shaking the whole kayak. It won't go anywhere because you have 4 points. The way I designed this gives you 4 points to mount this plate. So you don't just have it front and back and then it flips side to side. You actually have 4 points so it's anchored and won't roll around on you. And then it also gives you a base plate. I wasn't going to do this video because no one really, I mean, unless you're tournament angling, you're not really going to mount a giant graph like this, right? But I was thinking to myself, what about those guys that like to troll big baits for muskie? And you need a heavy duty mount. You can drill holes through this plate without going into your kayak, and you can put heavy duty rod holders. You can put a downrigger on there. You can mount, the options are endless. If you can drill into it and put a through bolt through it, you can put it on this plate. And so I'm gonna go over all of that and how I designed this thing and kind of how I built it and how to cut it so you can DIY it on your own. I'm sure I could probably sell you one, but honestly, you could go build this for 20 bucks. And then, so let's get into it. I'm going to show you how I designed this setup. I'm actually have a spare piece of starboard. Like I said, I bought way too much shit. So I got a piece of starboard, extra piece of starboard, bolts, everything that this needs to go into. And what's really cool is I used 1/4-20 track screws so I can use the because this is specific to NuCanoe. This won't work for any other kayak, but if you have a NuCanoe Unlimited or you have parallel tracks, it'll kind of give you the meat and potatoes. But I was able to use the 1/4-20 spin grips that NuCanoe sells, so everything's matchy-matchy. It's got to look nice. I told you that in the other video. Aesthetically, it's got to look pleasing to the eye. At least for me. I need it to look good. I need it to function good. I need it to do exactly what I need it to do. But this, I mean, is solid as a rock now. I don't have to worry about going down a boat ramp and losing my graph. If you caught a muskie on the end of this, it would drag. I could pull the kayak ashore with this thing. So let's get into the meat and potatoes and what I got and how I built it and everything else. So here's the materials I'm using. I'm using a 1/4-inch thick 6 by 12 sheet of starboard. I'm using 2 3/4 track bolts, 1-inch track bolts, 1/4 inch by 1 inch fender washers, 1.5 inch aluminum spacer for the 1/4 inch track bolt, and then your choice of 1/4 20 nuts. I'm just using the spin grips, so just to kind of keep it matchy. Remember, I said this is specific to the NuCanoe Unlimited. So I'll show you how I cut this starboard out to fit, and then we'll get to it. All right, so now we're going to take our 6 by 12 by 1/4 inch thick piece of starboard, and you're going to need a speed square. What you're going to do is you're going to put this on your top track. I like to butt the edge of it right up to the crease on the gunnel of the kayak. However you want to do it, whatever distance you want, go ahead, but I like to have a lot more to grab onto. I want it to utilize this whole track space right here. So you're going to hold it there. I'm going to use white. Wouldn't recommend using white because you're going to be able to see it a bunch, but I'm going to use white just so you guys can see it. All right, so you got to butt it up to the edge of the kayak. All right, so you're going to take your speed square. It should be the exact width of your track. So you're going to put your starboard and kind of butt it right up to the end, to the edge of the gunnel here. You're going to lay your speed square centered on your track, and you're going to make a mark right where the speed square butts up there. And then you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. You're going to line your speed square up with the track right where it meets the starboard. You're going to make a little mark right there. Now you're just going to line up your marks. You're going to make a line all the way across. That's going to be where you're going to drill in. I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit, and then I'm going to make a mark at 1 inch on each side, which if you can't read a ruler, that'll be right above your 1 and right above your 5. And that'll give you a crosshair on where to drill. So let's get to drilling here. I do have a vise, but just to make things easier for you guys to see, I'm using a drill and a 17/64 bit. We're just going to get just a little above that 1/4 inch, because remember, we're putting 1/4 20s through there, and I just want it to slide through a little bit better. So right where we made those crosshairs, I'm going to take this and then drill my holes through. Should look something like that. Now we're going to take it back over to the kayak. You're going to take your 1 inch track bolts, 1 inch in length, 1/4 20s. You're going to put those into the top track here. And then you're going to take your plate. You're gonna slide them through. Then you're gonna take 2 1/4 by 1s, and you're gonna slide them over the top like that. Then you're gonna take 2 of your spin grips or whatever 1/4 20 nuts you use, and you're just gonna lock it down into place. Now we've got our base laid out. We're going to need to measure and mark where we're going to drill our holes to link this center track here. You're gonna do the same thing you did for the first side. Take your speed square. You're gonna line it up on your track so it sticks up like that. Then you're gonna make your mark right where it butts up. And then you're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Flip it around, lay your speed square in, and then make your mark right where it butts up. Now it's gonna get a little more interesting here. I like to flip my speed square over, and it's gonna have to touch the inside of the gunnel on your kayak, just to the outside. That'll be easier to see. Just to the outside of your track. And you're gonna make another mark right there. You're gonna do the same thing on the other opposite side. Make your mark right on the inside. Now these aren't gonna be perfectly straight because your kayak pitches off to one side. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna use the straight edge. It's not gonna be perfectly straight, but use the straight edge and make my lines. And then same thing on the other side. Flip it over and make them 1 inch in on each side. So if you have a 6-inch piece, if you're not very good with a ruler, that will be on the 1 and the 5. Make a little crosshairs. And then this whole section is going to get cut off. So when it's all said and done, it should look something like this. Where you originally made your line, punch your holes and put your track bolts through, where you're going to drill, and then the part that you're going to cut off. I'll show you that in just a second here. All right, here I like to drill by holes first, so I have all this base plate so I can hold on to it. If you don't have a vise or something and you just have a chair or whatever, it'll give you more area to put pressure. Don't drill into your hand. All right, for this cutting the edge off of this thing, I'm gonna use a grinder. You don't have to use a grinder. You can use a jigsaw, whatever you want. I don't have sunglasses on because I think I'm cool. I wear some personal protection. You could use even a hacksaw would work. Jigsaw would work fine. Multi-tool would work fine. Whatever you have around your house to cut this piece. It's not super difficult. It's just a piece of plastic. All right, so we have that section cut off. We have our holes marked and drilled. Now all we got to do is throw it on the kayak. So we're going to take the 2 3/4 track bolt. We're going to thread that right into our track. I'm going to take the other one. It's going to go right next to it. Then on top of that, you're going to put your 2 1/4 inch by 1 inch washers. Those are going to slide over there. You're going to take your 2 sleeves, your 1 1/2 inch sleeves, slide those over top of that. Then you're going to throw another washer just for make it a little more rigid. You're going to throw another washer on top of that. right on top of that. If you did this right, it should look like that. Then we're going to take our base plate and we're going to slide that over the 1-inch track screws we already have on the upper side of the track. And then our spacers we just built out, we're just going to slide where we drilled. Right over that. Then we're going to take more 1-inch fender washers. We're going to throw them over top of that. And then after that, take your 1/4-20 spin grips. Oh, maybe not that one. Kind of difficult to do. You're just going to get it set where you want it. And you're going to tighten them all the way up. And bam, that's it. This is going to give you a base plate that is about 4.5 by 6 right here, that you can mount anything you want to, whether it's a downrigger, heavy duty rod holder. I have electronics on mine, but it'll give you the ability to do whatever you want. And if you tighten it up, you can literally lift your kayak with it. It's as solid as it gets. And now if you want to mount something that doesn't include tracks, you can just punch right through this plate. And if you need to cut another one, it's no big deal. All right, that's it. That's what I call the track link plate. Like I said, if anybody else has made this or already done a video on this or already designed this, let me know, because I would have liked to have purchased this instead of doing all these measurements and everything else and just spun it on there and been done with it. But I looked around for a while and I couldn't find anybody. So if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. If it helped you in any sort of way, let me know in the comments. I appreciate everybody who's shown up for me. A lot of people subscribing, and that's good. I like that. The more the merrier. And keep up the good work, you guys. It's been awesome, and I appreciate every one of you. Till next time, we'll catch you.